India has been famous for its spiritual teachers, godmen, and incarnations who have traversed the cross currents of humanity from time immemorial. To the Westerner's eye, this enigmatic face of India has inadvertently presented itself as a land of saffron-clad fakirs, miracle men, and snake charmers. But Yuji Krishnamurti is much more than any of these, or even all of these fascinating characters put together. In our program tonight, Yuji, as he is popularly known as, shares his views and concerns on a range of contemporary issues, more as a scholar, philosopher, mystic who has been globe-trotting for the last 5 decades than as a world teacher. His uppermost concern is the destiny and welfare of humanity as we enter the 21st century.
Human nature is exactly the same. We all speak the same language, whether it is English or any other language. Everybody wants one thing, that is to be happy without one moment of unhappiness, to have pleasure without pain. It is just impossible to achieve that goal. Unfortunately, the religious teachers from time immemorial have brainwashed us to believe that they have a teaching which will help us to make that possible. They have not succeeded, and we have fallen for that kind of a thing, and we live in hope and die in hope because we still believe that it would be possible for us to have one without the other. I say why it is not possible is because this living organism is involved in that demand to have permanent happiness. See, all sensations are short-lived. Happiness also is one sensation. Pleasure is one sensation. But this living organism is interested in one basic thing, to maintain its sensitivity of the sensory activity and the nervous system. And then alone it can survive and face the rigors of living in these adverse circumstances. We have added one more problem to this living organism, that it is fighting all the time the demand to make that a permanent thing, to be happy forever. It is not possible. Quest for permanent happiness is consuming tremendous amounts of energy. So we are not left with any energy to face these problems of our living. What is it that we can't do in this world? The idea that we should create a heaven on this planet is the one that has turned this extraordinarily paradise created by nature into a hellish thing.
The progress of science and technology, notwithstanding, has had a little impact on the masses. Yuji feels that a harmony between man and nature is imperative.
Because we have achieved tremendous things in the field of science, we have put man on the moon, we are going to put man on every planet. That does not mean that what all we have discovered in the laws of nature has not in any way benefited the whole of mankind. It benefits only a negligible percentage of the people. And so what I want to emphasize is tell the people that it is possible for us to live happily on this planet which nature has created for us. But the problem here is that we have been made to believe that the human species is created for some grander purpose other than all the other species on this planet. That's the first error that the culture has done. And the second thing is that the whole thing is created for the benefit of mankind. So we think that we have a right to enjoy whatever is there in nature for ourselves and deny the basic things for everybody. So there is tremendous amount of things available for everybody on this planet. They say that whatever nature has can feed 12 billion people without the help of modern technology. We have only 5 billion people on this planet. Why there is misery? Why there is starvation? We have to ask these basic questions and we have to get answers. Otherwise, we are heading towards disaster. We are not ready to question the answers. We are not ready to question the solutions that are offered to us to solve the problems. There are actually no problems at all. The problem is that the solutions that have been offered to us are not really the solutions. If they were the solutions, there wouldn't be any problems there at all. So something is wrong somewhere. So it is only on individual level that an individual can begin to look at these things, the absurdity of what we have made of our lives and the world around us, and ask these questions and get answers for ourselves.
The continued dominance of advanced industrialized nations over the world's resources is a concern to many of us. Yuji finds the inequitable distribution of world economic resources a very disturbing malady in the contemporary economic scene.
The 9 industrial nations are controlling the resources of the whole world. We have placed them in the seat of power, and we have given them most powerful destructive weapons, and they are going to use them to see that they are not dislodged. So you and I are responsible for the situation there. So we have to stop thinking about what harm or what good religion has done to us. The human thought reached its acme in India. It cannot go beyond. Our country has produced tremendous thinkers, tremendous philosophers.
Yuji feels that change is the essence of progress, yet there is a lot of resistance to change. Why is this irony? He has the answer.
The status quo is there in you. You may talk of all the time that you want a change, but when the time comes for change, you will not let that happen. A change for the better means for your own benefit and for the benefit. That is in the nature of things. Status quo is all that is important to the culture and to the individual. It's like a crab, We are here in this hole, something happens, it pushes out of this unwillingly, hesitantly, reluctantly. It moves and makes another hole and sits there until something happens and pushes it. That's the way we are moving.
Yuji has not much reverence for history when he outlines the distortion and unequal distribution of means for the benefit of mankind. He finds that history has to be corrected.
What is, after all, history? History is the memory of nations, and it is no different from your own memory. That is the most important thing. So we do not want any change there. You may talk of change for your own benefit. So change for maintaining the continuity and status quo. All that the human mind has invented is only to maintain its status quo. That is the reason why, when the time comes to change the leadership of the nations, they always pat on their backs and tell themselves that a known friend is better than an unknown enemy, or a known enemy is better than an unknown enemy.
On the vital issue of disarmament and destruction of nuclear weapons, Yuji says the technology is in the memory and the violence takes roots in the mind. To him, mind is the problem and not the battlefield. Balance of terror is the main cause behind the emerging detente. That's what he feels.
The root of that, all that building walls is very important. Every time I pass that red fort, I say to myself, where are those people who built those things to protect themselves? They are gone. And we have survived them all. The time has come for us where the possibility of anybody surviving a nuclear holocaust is slim to none. But are we going to be foolish enough to destroy what we have ourselves created with such a tremendous care? That is anybody's guess. When once you have entrenched yourself and have the means of defend yourself at any cost, what we will do is anybody's guess. I don't think we will be that foolish to destroy everything. The changes in the international sphere, the superpowers have come to realize that if they try to destroy their adversaries, they will also go with them. So the terror that had turned them to look towards trying to live with the adversaries, that kind of a thing has to percolate to the level of the common man. So that is the reason why I maintain that it is not love thy neighbor as thyself, which we have been preaching for centuries, brotherhood, cooperation, and all that kind of a guff and nonsense. But the terror that if I try to destroy my neighbor, I will also go with him. But the basic question is, how are you going to create peace through war?
Training of thought is the essence of a better environment for mankind. Yuji outlines about the harmony and the delicate balance of nature on the survival of a harmonious human thought.
What is the enemy of man? You see, you are not ready to, I'm not for a moment asking you to discard that. It's a very powerful instrument. So all philosophy does is to sharpen that instrument, you see. That's very necessary. But unfortunately, it is used for purposes for which it is not intended. The quest for happiness, the quest for excellence, the quest for God realization, etc., etc. So is there any other instrument? You may talk of intuition. No mind state has created tremendous structure of philosophical thought. You know that in the name of void, we have created violence. So how can violence come out of that peace? Any division that is there, any frontier you create out of the division is one problem that we have to face. So is there any other instrument we have?
On the division of haves and have-nots for the reason for economic opulence, division and vulgarity and moral decadence, Yuji has his own perspective.
The have-nots and the haves is operating in you. If you had that, what would you do is anybody's guess.
But if I don't have also.
You don't make a virtue of front of it.
And finally, Krishnamurti has no message for humanity. He has no craze for publicity either, nor has he any quest to found a school. He does not strive for deliverance of anyone whatsoever, he says. He is not convinced that he has subtle publicity messages to attract the media.
Even if you say things in a negative way, the human mind has this capacity to turn that into a positive thing and feel good.
Why people are talking?
I don't know. I really don't know. I am not conscious of any such thing at all. I really don't know. As a matter of fact, I've been asking myself, don't bother about seeing these religious freaks, religious buffs anymore, these religious seekers. Try and use another medium. And they are asking me, suddenly, why you have gone public? Are you anxious to become famous? No, not at all. The radio and the television are the most powerful medias through which I think I can express myself and talk to the unknown people.